Hello again, everybody. Shane Carter here, Hampshire Capital, here with our VP of Investor Relations, Eddie Austin. How's it going, Eddie?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Great to be chatting again. So today, this episode, we're going to talk about cost segregation and bonus depreciation. Why that's important, why it's important to investors, why it's important to us, and what does it mean? So as we're recording this, it's December 2022. And we are coming down to the very end of the 100% label anyway for bonus depreciation for this calendar year. In next year, 23, it steps down to 80%, and then 24 down to 60, and so on until 20% per year until it goes down to zero. That is, unless Congress does something about it to change that. So, Eddie, let's talk about cost segregation, bonus depreciation.
Well, I think before that, I would add that this is such an iconic year because we have the last deal we have closing for 2022 going right now, and we're in the middle of that race. So we have essentially the last and final 100% opportunity that people can kind of kick their taxes back. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let's get to it.
That's right. And so anybody interested, we're going to put a little link up here. By all means, go ahead, check it. Check out the offering. It's an amazing opportunity in Dallas. But that's not the focus of this episode. We're going to talk about cost seg and depreciation. But thank you for bringing that up, Eddie. As always, that's an important thing to think about. There is an actual live investment opportunity for that right now. So what is cost segregation and bonus depreciation, and how does it work? Right? I think that's the question.
I hear a lot of people, they speak on this, I guess you would say this subject. And on this subject, I hear a lot of people, they get it kind of misconstrued to like, okay, what is cost segregation? And what is bonus depreciation? Well, essentially, they're the same thing, correct?
Well, similar, right? So cost segregation is the study that is done that literally segregates out the different depreciable components of the asset, and which then allows you to take a bonus depreciation in year one. So it's sort of one leads to the other.
Right. So, and I think what a lot of people get misunderstood at is that cost segregation study. What is that? Well, essentially, it's an engineered study. You really dig into it. And we're going to speak more on the top level of things, but the nuts and bolts of the cost segregation is picking out different points of the property that will depreciate on different years. And some can be captured quicker. So say, for instance, carpet. You might depreciate carpet 5 years and a roof 25 years. So that allows us to capture different parts of the property differently.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's basically an accelerated step down of the value. So first you get an asset. Let's say in our case it's a multifamily community. It sits on a piece of land, so the land cannot be depreciated. So you got to carve the land out of the equation. And again, we engage with professional firms that focus on doing these studies for us, and they have engineers. They go out to the site. They do the analysis. We pay them for this. To be able to understand what this potential value is for the depreciation loss. And so, like Eddie said, some things can be depreciated on a 5-year basis, a 15-year basis, or longer. And so the bonus depreciation really allows us to take everything that is in that sort of 15-year depreciation basis and under and get it all in 1 year, in the first year, in year one. And that's the bonus. That's the bonus depreciation, is you get to accelerate all that depreciation and take it in year one. And so, tying back to what I said at the beginning here, this is the last year to get 100% of that value, right? Let's say there's a $10 million value in that accelerated depreciation. This year, you'll get $10 million. Next year, you start this in a month from now, and you get a $10 million accelerated depreciation, you're only going to be able to get $8 million of that, only 80%, right? And it's going to step down from there in year one. You can still take it in your regular, 5, 10, 15, plus year cycles, But for a lot of these assets that we're owning, we're in that sort of 5 to 10 year hold period, and so really we want to capture those depreciation losses sooner.
Right. And I've had people ask the question. So, I think they're in that homeowner mindset or that long-term hold mindset, like 25 plus years, full amortization of your loan. So I have people ask, they say, well, Eddie, why would you want to rapidly depreciate your property? Well, like you said, essentially, we're only owning these assets 3, 5, 10 years, most of the time 5 to 7 years. So we want to capture as much as that as we can grab and as much as we can legally do so. And if they tell us that we can rapidly depreciate carpets and door handles and doors and concrete and whatever, we're going to try and grab the most out of it. And essentially it gets kicked back to our investors.
That's right. Yeah, no, we allocate our depreciation pro rata to the investment. And in our Dallas deal, we've got the general partners who are allocating their depreciation to the LP investors as well to really increase those depreciation benefits to our LP investors for that particular transaction.
Right.
So let's talk about, I guess, what are some of the ways? What are some ways that a LP investor can take advantage of this depreciation, and how does it help them?
So, go to the very top of this. Successful business owner, successful stocks, bonds, mutual fund person, they made a bunch of money here in 2022, and they've got that just sitting. And I think very few people capture or understand that when there's an LP opportunity as such that we are constantly involved in, that bonus depreciation portion of that, if you got $100,000 sitting around, you could put this into an opportunity and you can depreciate at this year 100% or up to 75% in our asset. So I think people kind of don't understand that there's a way to actually essentially mitigate your tax.
Right. So instead of sending $100,000 check to the IRS for a tax liability that you have due to high earnings in 2022 or passive earnings, et cetera, you can offset that by making a tax advantaged investment into a piece of real estate that is deploying a cost segregation and bonus depreciation program. And again, let's use our Dallas asset as an example, just a real world example. For that one, sometimes you only get 40 or 50% of your investment. In this one, we're expecting to get up to about 75%. So right. You'll get a $75,000 loss given to you via a K-1 from the operating agreement from the JV entity the asset you're investing in. Mm-hmm. So instead of sending $100,000 to the IRS, you put $100,000 in this investment, and you get a $75,000 loss back from it in right. this calendar year. And then that's just in addition to whatever other benefits, an 8% preferred interest rate, an IRR metric, an equity multiple metric, et cetera, that you're going to get for that investment. So the tax advantage component of this is really, really powerful.
Oh, it is. This is totally a separate road, definitely another podcast we need to do. But, as business owners and other opportunities that we're in, you can only scale your own business to a point. At some point, you've scaled to a point that it doesn't make sense to reinvest in your own company. So it is such a great thing to be able to invest in something like this that, one, you remove your tax liability, and then second, it creates a passive income opportunity. And that's one of the greatest things I feel about it is what the purpose is not only do we get to not hand $100,000 off to the IRS, but we also get to remove the tax liability from that at the same time becoming a owner in a portion of real estate as a limited partner. And you're going to continue to get a bonus depreciation opportunity. The most important part is you're going to make income on that. When you hand over a check for $100,000, your income's over. You've handed it back. What you hard-earned money, you've handed it over. It's done. when you hand it over to a real estate investment firm like ourselves, you get that opportunity to not only remove the taxes, at the same time, the opportunity to get a check back.
That's right. That's exactly
So
right.
that 25%, so this deal here, 75% bonus depreciation of what we can remove from your taxes. That 25,000 over the next 5 years, we're going to blow that out of the water. You're not going to have a loss at the end of that.
Yeah. This particular investment, since we're talking about it, we're talking about 20+% IRR, over a 2.5x equity multiple over 5 years, average annual returns that are, in excess of 30%. It's a very amazing investment on its own without factoring in the depreciation. And just a quick point of clarity, rather, this is a 506c offering, right? So we're able to talk about this openly because it is a 506c, but also it's limited to only accredited investors, right? And so if you don't know what that is, kindly Google it. It'll tell you exactly what that is in terms of how much money you make, you and your spouse, net worth, etc. Only accredited investors, and it is a 506c. So, cost segregation is a very detailed study. You have to be a highly qualified professional organization to be able to execute those. We only engage with top-notch firms that do this exclusively. They do this every day. They have an amazing track record in terms of anything that's been audited from the IRS or challenged. They've been 100% successful in. That's the track record you look for when you're hiring a cost segregation firm. So definitely do your homework, do your due diligence, make sure you're engaging with the right firms. We certainly do, and that's a very important thing when you're doing cost seg.
I would definitely ask people to maybe even see the resume of what that company has done in the past. They should have some type of key performance metrics that they have that done in the past on what size properties. You don't want to hire a person that's done a 10 unit when you're trying to cost segregate a 300 unit. So you need a company that's been there, done it, and they know the ins and outs. It's a different style of property. It's a different style of it's still multifamily, but there's a lot more to capture on a large property than there is a small. So I would definitely find a firm that's definitely cut their teeth on the investment you're looking to cost segregate.
Yep.
That you need that study done.
All right. Thanks, Eddie. Look, we just did a real top-level overview of cost segregation, bonus depreciation. We could dive in. We're going to have some of our experts on other episodes to really drill in a lot deeper on this topic. But thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you all very much.